Ah, syntax error. My favorite of the Bad Apple DLC heists, funnily enough. But even despite my favoritism with this heist, I'm not going to pretend it's perfect, especially when it released with that initial price tag. But time's passed, and new heists have come out since, so how well does syntax hold up? Surprisingly, really well. I think I've already made it relatively clear that I really like this heist, but as I said in the beginning, it's not perfect and does need a bit of fixing, but this heist certainly raises the bar in terms of quality as far as the future heists are concerned. Syntax error takes place in a scryed digital building where your main objective is to obtain some drone data on specific servers, all while either avoiding the oversight, or failing that, sabotaging the AI overseeing the server's sins. Though, if you do trip the alarm, the color commentary Sins gives when you run around is kind of funny sometimes, even if it's completely drowned out when you're not playing solo. Let's start with what a run in stealth looks like. When you enter the building, you have to get past a metal detector to even enter the area, which you can do in multiple ways, either bypassing it with masking up, or going upstairs to find the metal detector's power box, disabling that to waltz on past this guard who's clearly not paid enough to care. Or if you're masked up, you can just vault the ledge or use the vent system to move around unseen. Of course, you need to go upstairs regardless if you don't feel like brute forcing, since the upstairs office is where you find the keypad code to open the door downstairs, either on the computer or inside the safe nearby. More often than not, though, you're probably going to find it in the safe. Now that you've entered the code and you've gotten downstairs, though, it's time to get into the server rooms, preferably without being seen by anyone inside. Your first goal is to find a red keycard to enter the main Sins room, as well as a side office with a computer that says which of the server rooms contain the drone data you're looking for, though there's not exactly any harm in going for all bags, so you might as well. Each server room can be entered in two ways. Either you go into the main Sins room and interact with these panels to open up one room at a time and just go through the door, or you mask up and use the vents to go in from above, disabling the lasers from the inside and grabbing the two servers you actually want. Once you grab the servers, you have to move them to the center of the room to a server scanner, where it'll either eject itself as a server without the drone data, or it'll simply finish the scan and continue on to the next server until all three drone data servers are scanned. Once all three of those are scanned, the drone data is compiled into one extra heavy bag that doesn't let you sprint when you carry it. But once you have it, you need to go back the way you came in, and watch out for the civilian and guard who try to ambush you on the way out. Although, if you know exactly how the elevator guards work, you can completely bypass him spawning, like I did in a run where I completely avoided the vents. But once you've gotten all the bags you want upstairs into the front, you're pretty much in the clear. Just get the bags in the van and you're good. If you go loud, the main goal is pretty much the same, but in order to get downstairs, you have to bypass the lock remotely with this device that we never use for any other heists, for some reason, where you can technically shoot the glass to get into any server room you please, but Sins is locked down the server rack, so you need to sabotage the AI to get access to them for scanning and looting. You sabotage the Sins AI by trying to shut it down, interrupted twice in the process, even though these interruptions also give you access to two of the server rooms, so you can scan them while you wait for Sins to be fully shut down, and ransack the whole server room. Now there's 10 servers total, and once you scan all of the objective servers, there's a total of 8 bags to move, but there is a secret 9th bag that you can obtain, but only with at least 2 people in co-op. Sins itself, sharing the same anti-sprint properties as the drone data. In order to obtain Sins, you need to have 2 people in different spots at the same time pressing these buttons. One person in the upstairs office, and the other directly behind Sins itself. Once both of those buttons are pressed, you can just open the case protecting Sins, bag it, and go. Once you get the drone data, Shade tells you there's a police perimeter around the building, so you need to blow up the wall next to the Sins room, which leads you into the park nearby. Only, when you emerge, you can very clearly see that Shade doesn't know what she's talking about since there's no perimeter anywhere in sight. I'll touch on that later. For now, you need to go to this relatively open area to call in Bile for a chopper getaway after clearing away some cops, standing in the grassy field for long enough. Once you've secured the bags you want, you're good to fly away. Well, that was certainly more interesting than a lot of the previous heists I've had to summarize in the series so far, and rightly so, considering this was the first one you had to give Starbreeze extra money to play. That said, there's a few points in this heist I want to talk about, particularly on the loud side of things. But first, let's go over the favors so I don't need to make a separate video about them in the future again. Starting with what you see on the screen right now, it might look like Syntax only has 3 favors compared to the usual 4, and in terms of the ones you can actually use, you'd be completely right. There used to be a 4th favor you could obtain, but beyond the Boys in Blue update, this favor, which I found conflicting reports on what it was, one place said it messed with the lasers, while another said it was just another additional explosives favor, is completely unusable. That said, If there was a fourth favor that would fit with this heist that wasn't very specifically tailored for loud or stealth, since there's already one of each of those, it would be a favor to make the server scanning faster, since it's very similar to the jewelry scanner mechanic from Dirty Ice, which can take quite a while, especially in stealth with little else to do while you wait patiently for the bar to fill. Now that the favors are out of the way, the list of the things I would change isn't that large, but it's fairly substantial regardless. Starting with stealth, I would just change the guard leaving the elevator to be once the third drone server is scanned and you can bag all the drone data instead of, well, letting you completely ignore him in stealth. Not that he's difficult to ignore if you bring a zipline bag in this elevator, to be fair. Otherwise, given how multiple doors between the server room on the entry side cause you to think more cautiously about how you go through the basement, I'd say stealth is pretty alright, even if the cameras can spawn in places that are worse for them than for you. One thing before I move on from stealth, though, would be a way to make stealth more interesting if you're doing it in co-op, since, as it is now, you can only grab SINs once the alarm sounds, but the way it looks, it really seems like you're just unplugging a computer. What if you got all the way to be able to do that and stole SINs in stealth as well? This would put the whole heist into searching mode, because, I mean, you're getting rid of the main thing controlling everything, but that's not really a bad thing, especially since you can somewhat save doing this until you're almost out of the heist anyway. Plus, stealth could use a bit of an extra challenge besides not using the vents, which I only did because there used to be a challenge for it, not because there is one right now. Loud, on the other hand, could use a bit more, though most of it is also after the drone data has been bagged, ironically enough. So, as it is now, there's only one escape, and that's blowing up the wall to reach the park area. Shade mentions the sewers, so why couldn't we go through the sewer as an alternative?
The police have the building surrounded. I'm thinking the best way through them is to go under. There's a utility space by the control room that runs water into the sewers. Plant some bombs and make yourselves an exit.
Let's say the explosives do a little too much damage and you don't have a convenient ramp made of rubble to go to the park and reach the chopper. Well, you could move through the sewer and try to lose the cops using a sewer grate as a makeshift secure point and then extracting underneath a manhole cover because Twitch pulled in above you. That sounds like an interesting change of pace and you wouldn't really need to add that much to it. Now, what needs to be added first is a reason to use the explosive in the first place, because Shade's gotten dementia, apparently, and you need a better reason than that, not just walk back out the front door with a minigun and both of them no sprint bags on your back. Simply put, the security gate from Diamond District could very easily be used here as a justification for why you can't do just that. Make it a chance that each time you find a piece of the drone data, the security gate closes in loud. Bonus points if removing the SIN score completely disables the gate from lowering at all. But since it doesn't go down, let's actually take advantage of that. You could easily go back upstairs, possibly be ambushed by a dozer like in First World Bank's escape, and have to defend the ground floor while waiting for Twitch to drive in a block away for you to secure the loot and get away in. You could even just reuse the road you spawn in, since it's already an area you're supposed to be using, why not use it more? Lastly, for loud, it's something I brushed past in the summary, but it would be nice if the camouflage timer filled faster if you killed more cops, similarly to the modems added to Touch the Sky. It's just annoying that the bar doesn't go up when you kill cops, but you're also not standing in the grass when you do so. I'll say again, syntax error is my favorite of the Bad Apple DLC heists, but it could definitely use improvement with the escape in multiple ways. Plus, it's a simple way to add to that randomization everyone loves so much without fundamentally changing the entire heist. Next on the Bad Apple list, I hope you're ready to see a police station because that's where we're headed. Until then, I appreciate you watching, and I hope you take care.